If your makeup looks cakey and doesn't blend into the skin after the whole makeup application, you're definitely doing something wrong that you may not know. So today I'm going to be sharing some tips on how to avoid all of that. So first of all, you need to always clean the face, or make sure the face is very clean before anything. The face has to be clean before you start any makeup application. So it's either you use your wipes or you use your cotton pad and a micellar water to clean up dirt on your face. This is the first step and is very important. Then the second step is you're going to be hydrating the skin. Like, you need to warm up the skin before any application, and after hydrating the skin, make sure it absorbs, like it dries up into the skin before moving on to the next process. So after hydrating, the next thing you want to do, you want to moisturize generously. Whether you have oily skin or dry skin, it's important to moisturize your skin before moving on to the next process. So allow the moisturizer to dry into the skin before the next process. So after your moisturizer, you want to prime the face. If you have oily skin, you need a mattifying primer, but while priming, you need to avoid the areas underneath the eyes. And if you have dry skin, you need to go on with your hydrating primer. But if you have a combination skin, you can make use of your hydrating primer and your mattifying primer. But if you cannot afford the both of them, you can buy your moisturizer and buy your mattifying primer. So because she has oily skin, I'm applying the mattifying primer on the oily areas on her face. Always avoid the areas underneath the eyes. So after that, I went ahead to set in all the products I applied earlier. After setting in, I let it dry into the skin properly before moving on to the next process. So next is foundation, but I used my liquid highlighter on her face first. This is optional, but this helps in achieving a glowy base. So if you like it, you can get it. This is Newborn Beauty liquid highlighter. If you don't like it, you can just go ahead applying your foundation. So next is the foundation. This is one of the important parts of this video. If you have a dry skin, I suggest you go for a creamy foundation. Avoid mattifying foundation. If you go for a matte finish foundation, you will not like the outcome and you won't even blend it properly. But if you have oily skin, it's best you go for a mattifying foundation. That's a matte finish foundation. And also, how you apply and blend your foundation matters a lot. So right now I'm using my flat brush to apply the foundation all over the face. After applying it, I had to set the face. This would help to blend in the foundation properly into the skin. So after spraying, I used my damp beauty sponge to blend the foundation all over the face. So while blending in the foundation, always avoid putting so much pressure on the areas underneath the eyes, in the sense that don't put too much foundation there, because you're going to be applying concealer and you also set. So if you put too much product on the areas underneath the eyes, trust me, you won't like the outcome. So after blending in the foundation, you want to lock it up with your spray. This would help the foundation not to move or go anywhere. So after that, you let it dry a little. So I hear a lot of people ask, how do you know someone with oily, dry, combination or normal skin? Tell me. Before you start working on a client, always ask the type of skin they have. This would enable you to know how to go about it. So always ask before you start any makeup on any client. So next, I'm going to be contouring. I'm using my, when you want to contour, use a shade that is 2 shades darker than the person's skin to contour the face, and make sure you always blend. Like, blending is the key. If you want to achieve a flawless finish foundation, flawless finish look, make sure you know how to blend, and make sure your beauty blender is damp. A lot of people don't like making their beauty blender wet. Wet the beauty blender and squeeze out all the water and make it damp. Your beauty blender will determine how you're going to blend, so let your beauty blend, make sure your beauty blender is damp. So after the cream contour, the next thing I did was to apply my cream blush. I applied it above her contour, then I blended it upwards and a little bit on the tip of the nose. So how you blend will determine the outcome of your look, of your results. So blend properly. So the next important part is your concealer. Guys, while you're concealing, while you want to highlight the face, always go for a creamy product, creamy concealer. This would help the concealer to like blend properly. If you go for a matte concealer, trust me, it will come out it will come out well. But if you can't blend properly, and sometimes it gets cakey and it creases a lot, so it's best to go for um a creamy concealer. If you go for a creamy concealer, if you apply it on the places you want to be highlighted, you give it like few seconds before blending it. So make sure you use your creamy concealer for highlighting. It's very very important, and it would help you achieve a flawless finish look. So after applying your concealer, before setting the concealer, before using your setting powder to set the concealer, always go back to set the areas underneath the eyes to avoid creasing. And while setting, make sure you tell your model or your client to look upwards. Let her eyes not be down. Then use either your beauty blender or your beauty puff to set. So while setting, you need to be light-handed. Take it one step at a time. Be gentle while setting, and don't pack too much setting powder. If you do, trust me, you won't like the outcome and you end up having patches. So set one step at a time and be gentle while setting. So if your application, if your makeup application is going well, everything is going to sit properly. If you blend properly, you're going to achieve a great result. So after setting the concealer, I'm going to be setting the rest of the face with a powder, the powder that is her exact skin shade. Use your exact use your exact skin shade to set the rest of the face. It's very very important, so always make sure you use a very good product and make sure you blend properly. So after setting, I'm going to be contouring. I'm going to be doing dry contouring, so I'm going to be using a shade that is two shades darker than her skin to set the cream contour I applied earlier. So I'm just applying it on the places I applied the cream contour. This would help to pronounce the face. Then after that, I'm going to be doing same on the nose with the same shade of powder I used to set her face. So next, I applied some powder on the areas underneath the eyes. This would help me blend in the areas underneath the eyes very well. So I'm using the same shade of the setting powder I used to set the concealer. So after this process, the next thing you want to do, you want to set the whole face. This would help to reduce the brightness on the face and also reduce the powder effect. Then after that, you dry it. So after drying, you do your baking if it's necessary. If you want to bake, you bake. So baking isn't always necessary. It just helps the under eye area brighter and flawless while applying a heavier eye look or boot color, which helps to prevent fallout from the eyes. So guys, after you're done with everything, the next thing you want to do, you want to set the face for the last time. This would help everything to come together and absorb properly. Then after that, you want to seal it with your fix spray. Fix spray helps the makeup to last longer and you're good to go. So can you see how flawless this makeup look? If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you so much guys. It's your girl Cynthia Makeover. I love you guys. I'll see you all in my next video. Bye
I know
guys.
you told your friends